Hi Stampers, NetteP coming to you from Warnersville, Pennsylvania, from my mess of an office. Well, I'm hoping that some things that I share with you today will help prevent you from ending up with such a mess. I'm going to give you some tips and tricks for new articles that you get. This is something that I tell new stampers whenever I do a workshop, but it's also useful stuff. If you're an experienced stamper, there might be a few things here that you didn't realize that just might help you out a little bit. And I will throw in a few little storage things in the middle too, for things that I found works really well for me. So I hope this helps you. I hope you find this useful. I'm going to flip the camera down on the work surface because that just tends to work best. So I know you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so before I do anything else, I got to get this part over with. It's www.nettepstamping.com. That's probably where you found me. I also have a YouTube channel, NetteP Stamping. And you can go directly from Stampin' Up to nettep.stampinup.net, but that's right through Stampin' Up to place an order. Or you can go to Gmail for me, nettep2020@gmail.com. And that's if you have any questions or anything I can help you with. Here is the host code for November. If you place an order in November, please use this host code. I use that to get free stuff that I then pass on to you as door prizes or just raffle prizes or anything. Please feel free to share this video with anybody and everybody and tell them to come look at my website and see if there's anything out there that might be a good crafting solution for them. Okay, so starting out now, obviously I am a Stampin' Up independent demonstrator, but all the products that you're going to see here are Stampin' Up products because, well, it's what I use. I think that they have wonderful products. Their products color coordinate with everything and they work really well. They're very good products. So that's why you're going to see a lot of Stampin' Up stuff. The first thing I'm going to show you, just in case you didn't know this, when you buy a stamp pad, you get your stamp pad. It looks just like this. And on the back, you're going to see a couple of labels stamped in different languages. Well, the reason that that's like that is so that you can place them on your pads. So when you store your pads, you can tell what you're looking at. So what I always do is take the English version and put it here in the front because my stamp pads all sit in a stand like this. So the English version is here. I put another language version here, not because I'm multilingual, but just because then I can see it if I happen to put it in backwards. Then there's a blank one at the very bottom. There's nothing on it. That is to put in here. When you open up the pad, you'll see a little empty space there. So that's so that when you have pads sitting out, several of them, and they happen to be close to the same shade, you can tell which one you're looking at. I'll give you an example. The Night of Navy and Basic Black, if you have the two of them sitting side by side, you may have a little bit of a hard time figuring out one from the other. And even actually, this is Daffodil Delight. If you have this sitting next to Mango Melody and maybe Pumpkin Pie or Crushed Curry, you can have a little bit of a hard time there too. So that little strip helps a lot. Notice I don't have it in here right now. That's just because I didn't put it in yet, because I wanted to show you what it looked like on the back. This is a new pad, so I just haven't put it in yet. So that's the ink pads. Now, this is one that I just recently found out, and I think this is a great little thing to know. When you get a new stamp set, if it's a cling stamp set, you get labels and you get the rubber, a sheet of rubber with all the stamps. So you have to obviously put the labels on the rubber sheet. Well, I know that years ago, the rubber sheet and the labels didn't help a whole lot, but now They are very, very helpful. Because not only can you identify what the stamp is, but it helps it stick to the block that you're using. Speaking of blocks, they get pretty gunky. I always told people at workshops use hand sanitizer because that gets them clean. It does. But right now, hand sanitizer is at a premium. So who wants to use the hand sanitizer? I used to have a bunch of these little bottles like this of hand sanitizer around, and that's what I used them for. It was to clean my blocks. But you know, if you throw these suckers in the dishwasher, they come out cleaner than the hand sanitizer gets them. They come out looking so good, you'll think they're brand new. So dishwasher with the blocks. Okay, back to the stamps. Sorry, I got sidetracked. Okay, so I don't know about you, but I know I always have trouble getting the labels onto the stamps that they look right. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. And I'm going to do it with the Noel stamp. You, of course, pull off what's here and throw it away. Okay. And you can just set it face down. Now I want the Noel stamp here. Pull off the one corner. Pull the whole thing up. Okay, right off of here. This is the easiest way I have found to put these on. Put it on the block. Now, in the middle, there's a little slit to make it easier to get these apart. Okay, so now you're left with your sticker right here. Take your sticker, because you can see through this, it makes it so much easier. Set it over your stamp so that it fits just exactly the way it's supposed to. Press down, and your label is stuck to your stamp. Now, what I always do then is I take all my stamps and I put them in. I keep this rubber sheet. Some people don't. Some people just set the stamps right in here. But I always set that in here like this. That way, all my slots are empty, so I know I have all my stamps in here. And they stick because the sticky stuff makes them stick. So I'll show you that one more time, just real quick. Pull the stamp out, pull the backing off. Set it down like this. This stamp says, "Friends and family are the truest gift of Christmas." Set that down here. I'm going to pull that off right here. It is. Okay. You see that? I'm going to pull that off. I'm going to stick it on my block like this. I am going to pull the backing off of it. Now I have the friends and family part up at the top. I'm going to turn it upside down and set it down just on top. And it's stuck. That just is so much easier to put these labels on that way. I was trying to match them up one by one, and it just, it took me forever to get these labels on. They go so much quicker this way. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3, die bundles. So you buy your, you get your bundle. Comes this, in this case it was Snowflake Wishes, and it came with so many snowflakes dies, and I was keeping them separate, and they were taking up a lot of room on my shelves because they're thicker and they're bigger and they're odd shaped. Some of them don't fit quite into here. They're not quite the right size. So to remedy that, what I did is I bought a pack, and I got these on Amazon, of adhesive, magnetic adhesive sheets. There's 15 in a pack. I believe these are 4 by 6. I think, I don't know. I can't even tell you how much it was because I don't remember, but it wasn't real super expensive. So they have adhesive backing on them. I take the magnetic sheet. I stick it to the inside. See that? Just like that. Now this is a whole sheet. because this is another trick. You ever get those things from doctor's offices or insurance companies or people like that that are meant to be refrigerator magnets? They work too. So I glued that into this one. That's what I used here. But you could use your magnetic sheet. And then I take all of my dies and I set them on here, just like that. So all my dies end up sticking here, and I am missing a couple of them because I'm using them, so I know they're not here, and I know why they're not here. Then on the label that you get with your dies, down here in the very bottom corner, there's a number. It tells you 8. 8 is the number of dies that are in this kit. I write that number on this sheet. I keep this, okay? I keep this and set it right on top, just to keep it separate from the stamps, okay? And it's 8, so I know now I have to have 8 dies or this is not complete. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's 6. There's 2 missing. I know what the 2 are. And I keep that here. And then my stamp's set on this side. Closes up. And it all fits in one compartment on my shelf. It just sets nicer that way. Then this particular bundle, in addition to the dies and the stamps, it also had an embossing folder. So what I did, those dies, when I got them, the dies came in this plastic envelope. Well, I took my embossing folder, which came in a cellophane envelope, which has glue, which messes everything up and it just makes me mad. So I take my embossing folder out, I stick it in this little envelope here. A lot of these I started putting labels on, and I filed them in a plastic box right by my embossing machine. That's how I handle that. Okay, dimensionals. And this is just a real quick little thing. When you get done with using all the dimensionals on your sheet, you end up with a whole lot, okay? A whole lot of extra space over here. That's what this is. So what I do is I just take my scissors and I just go along and I just snip. And now I have more dimensionals here. Or I cut it up this way to make a strip, because there's a lot of times when you can use a whole strip of this sticky foam, and that's what I do with it. So that's what I did with this one. I cut that whole edge off of there. Just something extra to stretch your dimensionals. Embellishments. You know, embellishments are pretty. They really are. And I know that's their main purpose. That's their major point in having embellishments. But boy, they're useful. They really, really are useful. Now, when I was putting this card together, this card went together with a little thing in the middle here that said Merry Christmas. Somehow, when I was stamping that Merry Christmas on there, my hand just moved over to the right too far, and I got it over. Well, it threw my whole card off, because now my wreath is going around and it's supposed to be centered right in the middle of the wreath. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, now what was I thinking? And this wreath was just too delicate to pull back up. So what I did is I pulled out my handy dandy little embellishments and I stuck a couple of them over here, so it looks like, I meant for it to be that way. It's supposed to have these embellishments there, and that's why the Merry Christmas is off center and it looks like it belongs that way. So I don't think that looks bad. I use embellishments all the time to fix my goofs. I have a tendency, I get glue on my fingers a lot. In fact, you can see right now, I have ink on my fingers, I have glue on my fingers, and then I pick something up and I get little spots on it or something to mess it up. Embellishments cover that stuff up. It's great. I use them all the time for that. Okay, next, just a couple more. These are things that I don't really expect you to want to do, but it just depends on how much you have, how much you want to do extra to make your life easier, okay? And you may see me with these at workshops, but every time new colors come out, or it's really, the work is involved in the initial setup, but once you have the whole thing set up, it's very easy from there on to maintain it. So what I did was I got my cardstock, and every new color that comes out, every time a new piece of cardstock comes out, I cut myself a 3x3 square. I make a label. I put the label with the color here, and I do that for each color. Now, I have mine are arranged the way they are in the catalog. The in colors are all together. So, in color 2020 to 2022, Bumblebee, Magenta Madness. Okay, so they're all organized like that. But then I also have all of my neutrals are together. All of my subtles are together. So like here's my neutrals. Here's the basics. The basics are the Very Vanilla, the Whisper White, excuse me, and the Basic Black. Then the neutrals, Mary Merlot, Early Espresso. So basically what I did is when I knew I had all the colors in order, I just went and cut a 3x3 piece, punched a hole up here in the corner. I have a bunch of these rings, just stuck the ring on, and now every time they come out with new in colors, I grab the first, right away when they come in, I grab 3x3 sheets and I attach it to this. Why would you do that? Well, because I have all of my paper, I buy my paper by the pack. So I buy a whole color cardstock by a pack. So like I have a whole pack of Night of Navy, a whole pack of these Daffodil Delight, a whole pack of Pear Pizzazz, and I have them in file folders in a filing cabinet right here under my desk. It's, some of the ones are in the back of the drawer, and to have to pull them out when I'm making a card and I think, what color would look best here? And I start wanting to match up colors, especially when it comes to like, okay, example, your blues. I have Coastal Cabana, I have Bermuda Bay, I have Pool Party, I have Balmy Blue, Pacific Point. I mean, there's just so many different blue colors and green colors and things like that. So I am putting together a card and I'm trying to decide, okay, I love this particular DSP, but I don't know which color I want to use for the base. So now I can take these and I can hold them up to the DSP that I'm using, the Designer Series paper that is, and decide what color looks best. So this has been a lifesaver for me in a lot of cases. And, you know, if you find yourself making a lot of cards, using a lot of designer paper, having a lot of cardstock, this could be an answer for you. The other thing is I do pretty much the same thing with my punches. When I get a new punch, I will cut, I just take a piece of paper, and this is cardstock. Honestly, for this kind of thing, I just buy a pack of cheap white cardstock. I don't use the Stampin' Up! Cardstock, and it's not a good quality. This is not a good quality cardstock. It's very movable, but I have it for just that reason. So I stamp, I mean, I cut it out. You can see, and I have it labeled. Timeless labels, tailored tag. The reason that I do that, label me fancy, there's the postage stamp. As soon as I get the punch, now I know which punches I have because they're right here. And when I want to make a I'm making the card and I want to put a greeting on the front, a lot of times, this is just, I've found myself a whole lot of times trying to decide which one I want to use for my greeting. And sometimes I'll end up punching out 3 or 4 of them before I figure out which one looks the best. So I finally figured out that if I do it this way, example, Merry Christmas, which one's going to look best? Well, it's lost in that. This is too big. Timeless label, that's a perfect one usually, but it's lost in there. That's too big too. But you know what? This one here, this Label Me Fancy, is almost the same as the timeless label, except it's smaller, and wow, it fits just right. Okay, so I can do that with all of my tags. And to be honest with you, I've done the same thing with my circles, and I'm going to just add them right here to this. Because those circle punches, the 1.5 inch to the 2 inch to the 2 1/4, sometimes you don't realize how much of a difference a 1/4 inch makes until you actually have them punched out the tags. So this is just something else to help you out a little bit, make things easier for you. Grab them, put them together with a paper clip. Easy. That's all I have for today. As I get different tips that I figure out, I'm going to write them down and do another video sometime. But something else I would like to do is some technique videos. So if you have a favorite technique that you've seen used somewhere but you don't know how to do it, or what's the easiest way to go about it, send me an email and I'll try to get it into a technique video. But we'll have some coming up in the future. Thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful for you. Bye.